Hey there, movie lovers! Today, we're exploring the incredible career of one of the most iconic actors of all time, Al Pacino. But what if I told you there's more to his films than just the acting? Let's talk about the money, budgets, box office successes, and most important, how much money Pacino took home. Let's start in 1969 with Pacino's first ever film, Me, Natalie. Now, you probably haven't heard of this one, and that's okay, it wasn't a blockbuster by any means. The film earned $1.9 million in US rentals, which was decent for a smaller drama back then. Pacino had a minor role, but even with limited screen time, he managed to make an impression. And get this, he earned $7,000 for his work. Now, you might be thinking, $7,000? That's not much. But back in 1969, for a complete rookie, that was a pretty sweet paycheck. A humble start for a man who would later redefine cinema. Fast forward to 1971 and the panic in Needle Park. This was Pacino's first leading role, and he absolutely crushed it. Playing a heroin addict in a raw and unflinching portrayal, Pacino proved he had the chops to take on challenging roles. The movie didn't break any box office records, but it earned a respectable $13.4 million and set Pacino up for the role that would change his life forever. And guess what? His paycheck jumped to $20,000, nearly 3 times what he earned for his first film. Not bad for a rising star, right? And then it happened. In 1972, The Godfather hit the big screen. Made on a modest budget of $6.7 million, this masterpiece shattered expectations, grossing up to $287 million worldwide. Pacino's performance as Michael Corleone? It's still studied in film schools today. But here's a fun fact, did you know the studio initially didn't want Pacino for the role? They thought he wasn't well known enough, and they pushed for bigger names. Imagine someone else as Michael Corleone. Unthinkable, right? Now let's talk money. For The Godfather, Pacino earned $50,000. Yes, just $50,000. While that might sound low for such an iconic role, remember, it was 1972, and Pacino was still relatively new to Hollywood. Little did the studio know, this film would turn him into a megastar and open the door to much bigger paychecks. By 1973, Pacino was unstoppable. Let's start with Serpico. This film, based on a true story, had a modest budget of $3 million and grossed nearly $30 million. Pacino's portrayal of Frank Serpico, an honest cop battling corruption, struck a chord with audiences. Critics loved it, too, and Pacino earned his second Oscar nomination. But here's the kicker, his paycheck skyrocketed to $750,000. For context, that was serious money in the 70s. Pacino had officially arrived as one of Hollywood's top earners. And in the same year, we got Scarecrow. This film paired Pacino with Gene Hackman in a quieter, more introspective story about two drifters. It wasn't a huge financial success, earning $4 million on a $1.3 million budget, but it showcased Pacino's versatility. He wasn't just an intense performer, he could play vulnerable and understated roles too. For this movie, Pacino earned $180,000. Not as high as Serpico, but still impressive for a smaller, experimental film. Then came The Godfather Part 2 in 1974. This film had a bigger budget, $13 million, and grossed an impressive $93 million. But let's be real. Beyond the box office numbers, Part 2 is widely regarded as one of the greatest sequels of all time. Some fans even argue it's better than the first. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Now, let's talk about Pacino's paycheck. For Part 2, he earned a staggering $4 million. That's right, $4 million in 1974. To put that into perspective, most Hollywood A-listers at the time weren't making anywhere near that. Pacino had officially joined the big leagues. And then came Dog Day Afternoon in 1975, a film that showcased Pacino's ability to combine raw intensity with humanity. The story, inspired by real events, follows a man robbing a bank to pay for his partner's gender reassignment surgery. It was groundbreaking for its time and earned $50 million on a tiny $1.8 million budget. For this role, Pacino earned $850,000. Not only was the paycheck impressive, but it also reflected how much Hollywood now valued his talent. And let's not forget, this was another Oscar-nominated performance. Pacino was on fire, delivering hit after hit and proving he wasn't just a flash in the pan. Then came Bobby Deerfield in 1977, a romantic drama that showed a different side of Al Pacino's acting. Known for his intense, gritty roles, this film was a softer, more introspective piece. Pacino played a race car driver grappling with existential questions after falling in love with a terminally ill woman. While the $9 million budget suggested hopes for a big hit, the film earned only $7 million at the box office. Critics were divided, with some praising Pacino's nuanced performance and others calling the film slow and overly sentimental. It wasn't the box office success many expected, but it showed Pacino's willingness to take on roles that pushed him out of his comfort zone. Pacino had a paycheck of $1 million for this movie. But in 1979, Pacino came roaring back with And Justice for All, a legal drama that perfectly balanced his intensity with sharp social commentary. Playing a frustrated and idealistic lawyer navigating corruption in the justice system, Pacino delivered one of his most memorable lines, "You're out of order. The whole trial is out of order." The film had a modest $4 million budget and was a significant box office hit, earning $33.3 million. Audiences loved his fiery performance, and the film became a critical and commercial success, reaffirming his place as one of the top actors of his time. Pacino had a paycheck of $1.5 million for this movie. In 1980, Pacino took on one of the most controversial roles of his career in Cruising. Directed by William Friedkin, this thriller delved into the underground gay leather bar scene as Pacino's character, a cop, went undercover to catch a serial killer. The film's $11 million budget was relatively modest, and it earned $19.8 million, a decent financial return, but far from a runaway success. However, the real story of Cruising lies in its reception. The film sparked significant controversy, with protests from LGBTQ+ activists who felt it reinforced harmful stereotypes. Critics, too, were divided, with some praising the dark, gritty tone and others questioning its message. Over the years, though, Cruising has been re-evaluated, gaining a cult following and appreciation for its bold storytelling. For Pacino, it was another example of his fearless approach to choosing challenging, boundary-pushing roles. Pacino had a paycheck of $2 million for this movie. His paychecks were still on the rise. Let's start with Author. In 1982. This was a rare light-hearted outing for Pacino, who played a playwright dealing with the chaos of family life and his career. Made on a $12 million budget, it earned $13 million, not a huge box office success, but it showed Pacino's willingness to step outside his comfort zone. While it didn't have the intensity of his earlier roles, it was a fun departure for him as an actor. Pacino had a paycheck of $1.7 million for this movie. Next came Scarface in 1983, a film that needs no introduction. With a budget of $37 million, it grossed $66 million worldwide. At the time, it wasn't considered a massive financial success, but today? It's a cultural phenomenon. Pacino's portrayal of Tony Montana remains one of the most iconic characters in cinema history. Lines like "Say hello to my little friend" are etched in pop culture forever. Pacino had a paycheck of $7 million for this movie. Unfortunately, Revolution in 1985 was a low point. This historical epic about the American Revolutionary War had a hefty $28 million budget, but brought in a mere $358,574 at the box office. Yes, you heard that right, just over $350,000. The film was plagued by production issues and poor reception, but it's a reminder that even the greats take risks that don't always pay off. Pacino had a paycheck of $4 million for this movie. Pacino made a roaring comeback in 1989 with Sea of Love. This steamy thriller was a box office hit, grossing $111 million on a $19 million budget. Audiences loved the gripping story and Pacino's chemistry with Ellen Barkin. It was a reminder that Pacino could still command the screen and the box office. Pacino had a paycheck of $8 million for this movie. In 1990, Pacino revisited one of his most famous roles with The Godfather Part 3. The film had a budget of $54 million and grossed $136.8 million. While it didn't quite reach the heights of the first two films, it's still an essential part of the Corleone saga. Pacino's performance as an aging Michael Corleone brought depth and closure to the character. Pacino had a paycheck of $9 million for this movie. Frankie and Johnny followed in 1991, with Pacino starring alongside Michelle Pfeiffer in this romantic dramedy. With a budget of $29 million, it earned $67 million. This film showed a softer side of Pacino as a short-order cook falling in love. Their on-screen chemistry made it a memorable addition to his filmography. Pacino had a paycheck of $4 million for this movie. 1992 was a big year. First, Glengarry Glen Ross, a drama about the cutthroat world of real estate sales. Made on a $12.5 million budget, it earned $10.7 million. While it didn't light up the box office, it was a critical darling, and Pacino's performance was widely praised. Pacino had a paycheck of $2 million for this movie. Then came Scent of a Woman. With a $31 million budget, it grossed $134 million and earned Pacino his first, and only, Oscar for Best Actor. His portrayal of the blind, cantankerous Colonel Frank Slade is one of his most beloved roles. Pacino had a paycheck of $8.5 million for this movie. In 1993, Pacino reunited with director Brian De Palma for Carlito's Way. This $30 million film grossed $63.8 million. Pacino played Carlito Brigant, a former gangster trying to leave his criminal past behind. It's a powerful and stylish film that's become a fan favorite. Pacino had a paycheck of $9 million for this movie. In 1995, Pacino starred in Heat, an epic crime thriller alongside Robert De Niro. With a $60 million budget, it grossed an impressive $187.4 million. The diner scene between Pacino and De Niro is now legendary, and the film remains a masterpiece in the genre. Pacino had a paycheck of $6 million for this movie. Pacino shifted gears in 1996 with City Hall, a political drama. Despite its $40 million budget, it earned only $20.3 million. While the film didn't resonate as strongly with audiences, Pacino's performance as the mayor of New York was as compelling as ever. Pacino had a paycheck of $7 million for this movie. 1997 was another great year. First, Donnie Brasco, a gripping crime drama based on true events, earned $124.9 million on a $35 million budget. Pacino's portrayal of a mobster befriending an undercover FBI agent was heartbreaking and brilliant. Pacino had a paycheck of $11 million for this movie. Later that year, we got The Devil's Advocate. With a $57 million budget, it grossed $152.9 million. Pacino's larger-than-life performance as a demonic lawyer is unforgettable. "Vanity my favorite sin, what a line." Pacino had a paycheck of $18.5 million for this movie. In 1999, Pacino delivered again with The Insider, a gripping drama about corporate whistleblowing. Made for $90 million, it earned $60.3 million, not a box office smash, but critically acclaimed. Pacino had a paycheck of $11 million for this movie. Then there was Any Given Sunday, a sports drama directed by Oliver Stone. It had a $55 million budget and earned $100.2 million. Pacino's fiery inch-by-inch locker room speech is still quoted today. Pacino had a paycheck of $10.5 million for this movie. In 2002, Insomnia saw Pacino playing a detective in a psychological thriller. It earned $113.8 million on a $46 million budget. Pacino had a paycheck of $10.5 million for this movie. Later that year, he starred in S1M0NE, a quirky sci-fi satire that made $19.6 million on a $10 million budget. Pacino had a paycheck of $6 million for this movie. The Recruit, 2003. This spy thriller had Pacino as a CIA instructor training a young recruit played by Colin Farrell. It had a solid mix of suspense and action. With a $46 million budget, it performed decently, earning $101.2 million worldwide. Not bad for a movie that keeps you guessing until the end. Pacino had a paycheck of $11 million for this movie. Then there was Giggly, 2003. Now, Pacino only had a cameo in this one, but Giggly is infamous. Starring Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez, it had a $54 million budget but bombed hard, making just $7.2 million. Critics weren't kind, and it's often called one of the worst movies of the decade. Thankfully, Pacino didn't take much of the heat for this one. Pacino had a paycheck of $2 million for this movie. In 2004, we got The Merchant of Venice. This Shakespeare adaptation had Pacino playing Shylock, and he delivered a powerhouse performance. The film had a $30 million budget but only made $18 million at the box office, partly due to its limited release. Still, it's a must-watch for fans of classic theater brought to life on screen. Pacino had a paycheck of $5 million for this movie. Next, Two for the Money, 2005. In this sports drama, Pacino played a high-stakes betting consultant opposite Matthew McConaughey. The film had a $35 million budget and earned $30.5 million, not a financial win, but it had some solid moments, especially with Pacino's fiery dialogue. Pacino had a paycheck of $10 million for this movie. Then came 88 Minutes in 2007. This was a thriller where Pacino's character, a forensic psychiatrist, gets a death threat claiming he has just 88 minutes to live. With a $30 million budget, it earned $32.6 million, so it barely broke even. Critics were harsh on this one, but hey, it's always fun watching Pacino under pressure. Pacino had a paycheck of $12 million for this movie. Also in 2007, we got Ocean's 13. Pacino joined the iconic ensemble cast as Willie Bank, a slick casino owner targeted by Danny Ocean's crew. With a budget of $85 million, it crushed the box office, bringing in $311.3 million. This one was a hit and proved Pacino could shine in ensemble pieces too. Pacino had a paycheck of $5 million for this movie. In 2008, Righteous Kill reunited Pacino with Robert De Niro. Fans were excited to see these legends together again, playing detectives hunting a serial killer. With a $60 million budget, it earned $78.4 million, not a blockbuster, but respectable. Unfortunately, the film didn't wow critics, with many feeling it didn't live up to its potential. Pacino had a paycheck of $12 million for this movie, The Son of No One, 2011. This crime thriller had Pacino playing a veteran cop tangled in a cover-up. While the premise had promise, the film fell flat, earning just $1.1 million on a $15 million budget. Definitely not his strongest showing. Pacino had a paycheck of $4.4 million for this movie. Next, Jack and Jill, 2011. Yes, that movie. Pacino played a hilarious version of himself in this Adam Sandler comedy. Critics weren't kind, but audiences showed up. It made $149.7 million on a $79 million budget. Say what you will, but seeing Pacino in a Dunkin' Donuts commercial parody? Comedy gold. Pacino had a paycheck of $4 million for this movie. Then came Stand Up Guys, 2012. In this crime comedy, Pacino teamed up with legends Christopher Walken and Alan Arkin. It's about three aging criminals getting together for one last hurrah. Unfortunately, the film only made $5 million on a $15 million budget. A fun concept, but it didn't quite land with audiences. Pacino had a paycheck of $3 million for this movie. The Humbling, 2014. This indie drama had Pacino playing an aging actor grappling with a career in decline. With a tiny $2 million budget, it only grossed $400,000. It had limited release and didn't connect widely, but Pacino delivered a solid performance in this introspective role. Pacino had a paycheck of $1 million for this movie. Danny Collins, 2015. This was a feel-good story about an aging rock star who discovers a letter from John Lennon decades too late. It was a heartwarming performance from Pacino, and the movie made $10.8 million on its $10 million budget. Modest, but it's a charming film that's worth checking out. Pacino had a paycheck of $5 million for this movie. Next, Misconduct, 2016. In this legal thriller, Pacino shared the screen with Anthony Hopkins. Unfortunately, the film was critically panned and only brought in $2 million on an $11 million budget. Let's just say this one didn't make much of an impact. Pacino had a paycheck of $3 million for this movie. Then came the powerhouse The Irishman, 2019. Reuniting with Martin Scorsese, Pacino delivered a stunning performance as Jimmy Hoffa in this epic crime drama. It was made for a whopping $159 million and had a limited theatrical release, but its real home was Netflix. While we don't have traditional box office numbers, the film earned critical acclaim and a slew of award nominations, reminding everyone why Pacino is a legend. Pacino had a paycheck of $13 million for this movie. House of Gucci, 2021. In this biographical crime drama about the Gucci family, Pacino played Aldo Gucci. With a $75 million budget, it grossed $153 million worldwide. The film had mixed reviews, but Pacino brought charm and depth to his role, proving he's still got it. Pacino had a paycheck of $5 million for this movie. For making it till the end, if you liked our analysis, then please leave a like on this video and do subscribe to our channel.